things with him.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Peter's Living Room here on the World Entertainment and Information Network. I hope the day's been going well for you. It's been going good for me. I'm having a good time today, even though it's a Monday. I speak to people during the day, and they're like, "Oh man, it's Monday. I got a whole week of work left." I said, "You know what? Do something you like. It's not considered work." Anyway, moving forward.
You had a short week last week. Shut up.
Yeah. Anyway, that other voice isn't me. I have with me, and you know what? I call you the funny. I call you the talented. You're an entertainer. You're not a stand-up comic. You're a speaker. You're a musician. You do stand-up.
I don't like long intros. It puts too much pressure on me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
something shorter.
I'm happy to say a friend of mine, Sarge, is in the house. How
Sarge, let them decide if I'm such an entertainer. Right. Let them decide if I'm so illustrious. Right. The long intros, you know, and then he did this, and you know, that's how much show business has changed if you watch the talk shows.
Yes.
Used to be back in Johnny Carson days.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be, you know, dog-eared and yellowish, but someone's coming on. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he's the star of a new movie. Ladies and Burt Reynolds, and then the person comes out. Anybody they brought in, he's got a new movie coming. Jimmy Stewart, a legend. If it was a singer, she's a singer. Now she's going to sing for us, and she's going to sit over here and, you know, weasel her way through a conversation until a commercial. But it was short. Now today, he's got a line of furniture. His book just came out. He's on 2 sitcoms simultaneously, and his Netflix special airs on Saturday night. He's got 2 best hit movies that have grossed over $1 billion. But no, everyone's multi-level.
Yeah.
Everyone's into products, furniture, poetry, TV production. They've got movies. He's got houses he just sold. He's got ex-wives he's paying. It's unbelievable how you don't even measure up if you don't have a bunch of stuff.
I want to tell you something. You're talking about people being multi-level, doing all this different stuff.
Well, their intro takes 5 minutes.
I did an interview with Burt Young.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, I'm there with media, right? The fact that I was...
What, were you on a red carpet?
Yeah. The fact that I was able to go to the gala didn't matter.
Right.
But I had to cover the red carpet. And everybody's asking him about the movie. Everybody's asking him about Rocky. Everybody's asking him...
What did you ask him about?
I said, where is your artwork? What gallery is your artwork in?
Oh, my God. You got 10 minutes out of him.
And everybody else...
can go sit down. Right.
You can go sit down. I'm talking to this guy.
So that's smart. You went another angle.
I knew what he really loved to do and
that's
what he
smart.
wanted to promote.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Me, you're not going to do that. Me,
no, you're not going to do that. No,
I don't have any art. I have no art.
You have no art.
I have spin art from when I went to the carnival.
You've got a mouth.
You remember when you had to catch up things with the paint? You spun and you got this painting.
Yeah,
yeah, that was
terrific.
Think
I still have like in the little box from my kids.
I was more amazed by the actual inside of the thing where the stuff spun.
Yeah,
with all. Then you got some cotton candy.
Unbelievable. Yeah, back in the days when we would eat cotton candy.
Speaking of cotton candy, I did the weirdest gig like in October.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you about it because it's ridiculous. It's bizarre. I get booked. There's a Jewish guy in Iowa. There's one.
There is a guy?
One.
All right.
One and his family, and I don't think they're observant. You know, they didn't know how many.
I know the guy. I went to school in Kansas with him. He's the only one that stayed.
No, trust me. He's in Des Moines, but he's outside of Des Moines in a place called Altoona.
Okay.
Altoona? Is it Altoona, Iowa?
Yeah, whatever.
It's right outside of Des Moines. Largest landowner in Iowa.
Okay.
Only guy that doesn't farm within 1,000 miles of himself. Okay. Or work at McDonald's.
Right.
He's got a theme park there called Adventureland.
Yeah.
So he was offered $1 trillion from the Hershey people, Hershey Park and Dorney Park and all those parks that have roller coasters. They wanted to offer him when his father died. They wanted to buy him out. No, he's keeping the theme park. He sold the other half of the land to a casino and a horse racing track and a mega hotel complex. All right, so he can literally sit in an easy chair with his feet up and a really cheap cigar for the rest of his life. Okay, so I get booked for a lot of money.
He could afford a good cigar, but he'll smoke a cheap
He has
one.
Oktoberfest.
Oh, okay.
Oktoberfest, the first week of October or the second week. I don't know when Oktoberfest is. I don't drink. I haven't had a drink since December 26th, 1990. Not because I'm an alcoholic. I'm allergic. Every time I drink, I break out in handcuffs. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, these are the jokes, folks. Fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
So I'm in Iowa. I fly to Iowa. The night before I went to Iowa, my wife and I we like these lobster rolls.
Yeah.
We're very, very devout Jews.
Yeah.
We eat lobster rolls and wash it down with, clams and ham.
Oh, all right,
We call
good.
it the trifecta.
Right.
So I ate these lobster rolls with my wife. She left mine on the counter. Hers she ate. It was from the fridge. I got the worst food poisoning I've ever had in my life. I flew there. I don't know how. I'm in first class going to Des Moines, and I literally had like 6 sips of ginger ale between Fort Lauderdale and Des Moines. I that kind of sick where you just don't want to move. You don't.
Yeah.
The hair in your arms. Some of you don't have hair in your arms, but those of us have hair in our arms.
Right.
So anyway, I get to Des Moines, and I meet this Jew.
Yeah.
Great guy, Michael Krantz. Terrific guy. He owns the whole place. He pulls up on a golf cart. Hey, we're so glad you're here. You're performing with Hanson. You know Hanson?
I remember my kids
when they were
into
9.
Yeah.
They're still playing.
Are they really?
They're like 46 now.
Yeah.
And they make money, and they're very good. But no, Hanson.
Right.
They're playing in the alternate venue outside. They're playing an outdoor concert. I'm playing in the theater. Fantastic. Right. Thank God. It's 36 degrees. I'm from here. I'm from Florida.
Right.
Are the people listening in Florida? They're all over the country.
Yeah, they're all over the country.
It's like 91 here on a cold day.
Right.
I'm in 36 and sick and raining. And there are 30,000 cars in the parking lot. Like, you ever seen Belmont Racetrack on a big day, on like the Belmont?
The Belmont
the
Stakes.
park or Aqueduct. You're driving on the BQE or you're on the Cross Island, and you see the parking lot at Aqueduct. It looks like they couldn't fit another car.
Right.
That's what this looks like. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of these people. So now I'm in the hotel, and they're telling me 3 hours till showtime. I'm literally face down in the bed since I checked in last night. I put my luggage down. I didn't change my clothes. I couldn't get up to brush my teeth. I couldn't take a sip of water. I was so freaking sick. So anyway, they're telling me how much time they're. An hour, Sarge, an hour. Oh my God, I have to go to the emergency room. So he goes, "What do you need from the emergency room?" The owner. He comes in. What's the matter? I said, I have to go to the. I'm ill. He goes, "Don't worry. We've got people on contract. We're sending them over." Within 10 minutes, a paramedic is in my room with a big suitcase of stuff. And he taps my thing. He's got a vein. What are you giving me? I'm going to give you some Toradol. It's an anti-inflammatory. I'm going to give you some B6 vitamins. I'm going to give you some essential vitamins, some multivitamins. I'm going to give you something for nausea, little Zorfran. I'm going to give you something for diarrhea. It's all in the mix. We just put an IV guy. Yeah. He comes in with a portable cart. He sticks the thing in my arm. I get a flush. I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, I feel terrific. I get up. Now I have to go outside. It's 36 degrees. They put me in a golf cart outside. I have one jacket that's suitable for this kind of weather.
Right.
They're taking me, and it's windy and cold. Now we get to and I'm in a golf cart. It doesn't go fast enough.
Right.
And he's driving me, and he's showing me, and this is the thing, and this is our roller coaster.
Scenic tour. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like, I want a tour of friggin' Altoona, Iowa. So now we get to the fence that we have to get past the security gates to go into the back of the theater. And there's a line of people that literally look like a cattle auction of human beings in hoodies with Iowa Hawkeye jerseys and camouflage parkas. You get
I got it.
Everyone is over 300 pounds. Everyone is holding something the size of a boot filled with beer and something in their right hand that they're gnawing on while they're online for something else.
Like one of those big old medieval turkey legs?
No, it looked like a gigantic cheese stick.
Okay.
Picture a cheese stick the size of a carton of cigarettes. Okay. So as we're trying to cut through, excuse us, we have to pass through the line here to go to the fence. Oh, excuse us. So I said, stop for a second. I said, I know that's beer. What's that? He goes, get your own. So I said, what do you mean? I don't want it. I don't want any of yours. I just want to know what you're eating. Oh, he says, it's fried butter. It's fried butter.
Oh my God.
He's eating a stick the size of a carton of cigarettes of fried butter, and then beer in the other hand. I said, what's this line for? He says, fresh donuts. They make giant donuts, and they do them live for you, and they're fresh. I said, oh, okay. Okay, so these people are in 36 degrees of sleet rain outside waiting to see Hanson. And in the interim time frame, they're having beer, fried butter, and donuts.
All right.
And they will outlive us.
Yeah.
Okay? They will outlive us.
Not all of them.
No. Trust me.
Yeah.
These people, they're too dumb to die.
Yeah.
So now they go through the fence and they take me in. I go on the venue. I'm feeling better, but I'm not feeling like myself.
Yeah.
And I come out on stage, quick little intro, and I go through the curtain and I look out, and there's easily 3,000 of these very same people who aren't there to see me. They're there to get out of the rain because Hanson's playing outdoors.
Right.
And they are so drunk. You ever try to talk to someone that's overdrunk? It's impossible. Yeah. Try to talk to 3,000 people that are overdrunk. You can't do anything. So I just started making fun of them. And
did they pick up that you were goofing on them?
They loved it.
Yeah.
I said, I did every fat joke I've ever heard, every dumb joke I've ever heard. It takes him 4 hours to watch 60 Minutes. And this one is like, when the mooing stops, can I get you some breakfast?
Yeah.
The whole thing. I just went, and I'm on stage for an hour and a half just insulting people. And they're loving it. They're applauding. They're standing. They're fully parked and clothed with their fried butter and their beer and their donuts. It was unbelievable. And I walked off after an hour and a half. They did it. They gave me a standing. I said, please don't give me a standing ovation because I don't want to be invited back. I'm not made for this. And I left. Oh, they're cheering. Bring him back. No. He's got to go collapse again. So I went and collapsed again. They did another IV. And 4 hours later, I did another hour and a half of making fun of people in Iowa. I didn't do one story, one joke. There wasn't one sentence that was cohesive. Nothing cogent. Really? I was just shouting insults from the stage for 90 straight minutes, and they loved it. And the second show was more packed than the first show because the first group of idiots.
Oh, yeah, you got to go see this guy. Yeah.
I mean, brutal.
All right.
But so I'll go anywhere to make a buck.
Right.
Seinfeld's playing $1 million a night in Tel Aviv on his private jet with my dear friend Mark Schiff, and I'm playing Oktoberfest opposite Hanson in the freezing rain to people eating fried butter.
Right. Well,
and a lot less zeros.
I like the Seinfeld show. I was never a big fan of Seinfeld stand-up.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't find it clever?
It is clever.
If you know the work that went into it, I think you'd be a lot more interested.
I appreciate.
He spends an hour and a half every day on the phone with his co-writer.
Yeah,
and they work through concepts.
Roll on the floor laughing. It's very clever. I find his support to be more of the humorous than whatever.
He's a wonderful, but like I watched him. Did you see him on Thanksgiving with Jimmy Fallon?
No, I didn't.
Jimmy Fallon was doing a gag where he was in the green room in the back eating like so much he couldn't do the monologue.
Yeah.
So he had Seinfeld as a guest on the show, and he asked Seinfeld come out and do the monologue. So Seinfeld came out and did the first 5 minutes of the monologue, and then Jimmy comes out brushing his suit off, wiping his face, and he says, "Are you here to finish?" And he says, "Yeah, yes." And he did it in his voice. He says, "Yes, I'm here to finish." Yeah, and so he finished it. Seinfeld walked off, and then he came back as the first guest, which was wonderful. And there was a funny moment there where Fallon says to Seinfeld, "So I hear you have a residency now at the Beacon Theater on the Upper West Side of Manhattan."
Right.
He says, "I love the theater." He says,
"Now theater. I used to live right by it."
He says, "I only want to play places that have the right vibe." He says, "So now I'm down to that." He says, "I want to play places that are the right place for my comedy with my fans, et cetera, et cetera." So he says, "Would you drop by?" He says to Fallon, "Would you drop by and just do a surprise, drop in?" He goes, "Well, what would I do?" He says, "I haven't done stand-up in 20 years. He says, "Doesn't matter. Bring your props, bring your guitar." He says, "You'll come in." He says, I can't do that." He says, "Look, I did 5 minutes of your shitty material to open your Thanksgiving show. You can come do 15 minutes of your shitty material on my show." And it was like a very cute, real moment. And that's what you see from Seinfeld these days. His projects are real. The coffee, he's just having a conversation with somebody unbelievable.
His driving and having coffee
amazing.
In the car is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about his special where he did his old act? Do you know that to do his old act, he did it 222 times in various places before he recorded it, and it was his act.
Smart move.
He's just that hardworking, and it's the same from that show when Larry and him. Did you watch the Mark Twain prize?
Yes.
Did you? The Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Yes.
Was that not a treasure?
That was great.
Those two girls with the dancers.
Fabulous.
I'm just saying, there are moments in those shows where you're awarding somebody for something, but every once in a while you're looking at someone that deserves it.
Yeah.
She deserves it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Larry David's thing about, you know, I knew you were a good actress, but that whole cancer gag. I mean, telling everybody you had cancer just to get the Mark Twain Prize.
Right.
And he started coughing and he said, well, I'm doing fine, but I had to go to the doctor today and I'd like to come back to Washington. You know, very clever, very real.
I like intelligent humor. But let's get off of him.
Okay.
Let's get off of him. All right. One thing that I was going to say, and I've mentioned it to friends who I've brought to your shows here that have become fans and have been
here in the living room.
No. Here when you've been in.
If I'm here in the living room,
yeah,
I'm almost finished doing comedy as a business.
Well, you know, everybody's.
No, I mean, if I'm doing live shows here, if I'm on the radio with you here, that's fine.
Yeah.
If I'm doing shows in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not even going to Taco Bell.
Okay. Well, the point is, what was the point? Oh, what I said was, you know, the one thing, you're a family man.
Yeah.
All right. And I always like when I look at your schedule, that basically Thanksgiving to New Year's, you're in South Florida. You're home. You're
I'm
home
here. To be honest with you, with a few rare exceptions, I'm home from now with the 2 Toronto trips in December through the end of March.
All right. But I like that. You're busy.
Well, who wants to be in a hotel room in Des Moines?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to be, the guys that play the Schmuck Hut, the guys that play the Yuck Yuck Hut and the Schmuck Hut and all these, you know, Laughaholics and all these places, they have to do it because they're doing comedy clubs. They're making, you know, minimum money.
Right.
And they have to. I, fortunately, have tapped into a vein, a pay streak, a good demographic of older people who are over 50, people who have disposable income, people who put a premium on excellent comedy, people who've watched the Ed Sullivan Show and had Alan King and Buddy Hackett and Don Rickles as their favorites. They were my favorites, but I was 6. I lived in the mountains in Catskills. I sat under the tablecloth with my grandfather watching Rickles open for Sammy Davis. I saw these men, Gene Balos. I saw Freddie Roman when he was a young guy. And by the way, we're very dear friends. And I'm headlining the Catskills on Broadway tour with him.
Oh, very
and
good.
Dick Capri, Richie Minervini, Mark Schiff. And I close the show.
Right.
Can you imagine? I close a show that has people like Dick Capri who've opened for Sinatra.
Right.
People like Freddie Roman who've paid all of their dues and been funny everywhere for thousands of shows. And I close that show. I'm not on Seinfeld. I'm not on Jimmy Fallon. I'm not on all these fans. I sit home and I get a little lump in my throat sometimes when I watch people talking about what they're doing next. And I'm doing, I'm coming in to do radio with you for an hour. Do you know what I mean? I used to have my own radio show.
Probably jealous.
No, but you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I'm glad to be a star, and I'm glad I'm not a superstar, because I really don't want people watching me.
Yeah.
It's enough when I go to Publix and they go, "Oh, you buy Raisin Bran. I come to your shows." Oh, that's wonderful. I'm very glad that you saw what cereal I eat.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is, yes, I'm a family man. Yes, I made a decision in 2008 when my son was born to be home for his entire life until he didn't want his father around, which is coming up soon because he's 10.
Oh, yeah, in another couple of years.
On September 1st,
my
parents moved down here and my mother fell and broke her hip. On September 19th, 18 days later, my son was born. I had a year and a half of cruise ship work booked in advance that I canceled entirely because this is my wife having our first child. I can't leave her with my broken parents. My father was already in a wheelchair, and my mother, who was his caretaker, is now broken herself. I can't leave my newborn son with my, wife, with these people 2 blocks away that need care also. So life conspired to change the course of my career. And Alan King told me something one time backstage at the Concord. And he was my idol because I saw him on Ed Sullivan numerous times. And then I saw him on Carson every other week.
He lived right down the road from you.
Yes. But
which was right down the road from me.
You want to hear a great Alan King story? Do you want me to tell you the Alan King story first, or what he told me that shaped the course of my life?
Tell me what shaped your life.
We're sitting backstage and he's drinking gin like it's water. because he liked to drink.
Right.
So I said, why are you drinking so much? He says, have you heard my act? He says, I've heard my act 1,000,000 times. He says, I have to.
Yeah.
He says, plus I'm not doing so well health-wise. I don't have much to go maybe. And I said, wow. I said, that's unbelievable. And I asked him 2 questions. First question I asked him was, do you have any, what was the greatest line of your career?
Yeah.
He says, the greatest line of my career, no problem, hands down. I will be performing now for 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Garland is not going to be performing tonight. Greatest line of his career, because he's at the London Palladium, at the Palace, or whatever it's called. He's over here, he's over there. Judy Garland is like hanging from the ceiling fan, drunk and drugged. Alan went out and did 2 hours, covered the spot, saved the guarantee, blah, 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 make a long story short. Now I'm backstage in the dressing room, and I said, second question, I said, do you have any regrets? He says, well, I wasn't much of a father. He says, I wasn't a very good husband. I wasn't really the best son I could have been. I was really so busy being Alan King. I didn't bother to be those other things. Sargula called me Sargula. I mean, this is somebody who was a legend who I later became friends with through other friends who were business partners and family to him. He said, Sargula, he says, be a father, be a husband, be a son. Don't worry about the Sargula part. That God will take care of that for you. But you don't want to leave this earth with regrets, because you don't get do-overs with children. You don't get do-overs with wives, and you don't get do-overs with elderly parents. Be a good father, be a good husband, be a good son. Make that first, because you can live with yourself. If you're busy being Sarge everywhere, those people learn to live without you. And when they learn to live without you, they do live without you. And then you have nothing to come back to.
Words of wisdom.
So I took that very seriously, and every decision I make is filtered through the husband, father, son. And many times it's, oh, shit. It's not easy. It's not easy to always do the right thing.
Believe me, I know.
So for the last 10 years, I've minimized the amount of time I've been away. And the good Lord has blessed me, and I'm not one of these freaks, but the good Lord has blessed me with a tremendous amount of business driving distance from my house. Now, Tampa's driving distance from my house. I did Tampa the other night.
And you can do that 4 hours.
Well, it's 4 hours, but after a show and before a show.
You want to,
I drove up in the afternoon. I did 800 people in a Del Webb community called Timber Pines. They were awesome. They're not East Coast people. They're West Coast people. They're chalky and they're churchy, which I have no problem with. They're different. The people that are my wheelhouse, you know, I heard Seinfeld say last night while I was watching a tape version of the Thanksgiving show, he says, I'm at the point where I want to work in my wheelhouse. I want to work the theaters I want to work and for the people I want to work for. I'm at that point now. There's no better audience than people that either come from the tri-state area and are Italian, Jewish, and have had the cultural experience of being irritated 24/7, traffic, restaurants, weather, relatives. I mean, you can't go wrong with people that have been irritated their whole life. Great people, smart people. You can't live in that area and be lazy. You have to work. You have to hustle. You have to have something going on. And so my wheelhouse customer is 70 years old who needs to laugh today because everything hurts. You know what I mean? I'm not ashamed of that.
And you know what? You're doing a public service. With that.
I'm aware of that.
Because I've been involved with a lot of events and concerts, you know, oldies and doo-wops and stuff. And I'm watching. My wife used to be a social director in the condo communities. And she would have, you know, people that were big hits back in the 50s. And I'm looking, and these 88-year-old people with the walkers and the canes, they shuffle their way out onto the dance floor. And they're dancing.
They're having a good time.
And then, you know what? It's taking them back mentally to when they were in their 30s, when life was great, prime time.
Here's something else to remember. It may be the last good time they have. Because time ticks.
Time ticks.
I'll tell you a funny story about that, but it's not so funny, but it is funny. Funny, like poignant, ironic funny. I'm in recovery, and I have a dear friend. I lived in Los Angeles for 11 years,
Right.
trying to become a star. I wanted to live. I pointed right next to Merv's house. Merv had a house on the top that looked like a palatial thing.
Right.
From the front door of my recovery meeting that I would go to every morning on Robertson and Melrose, every morning, 6:15 a.m., keys on the chair, walk up to Starbucks, come back down, go to a recovery meeting, come out of the meeting, have breakfast with a bunch of people in recovery because, quite frankly, I was homeless and sick up to my eyebrows from PCP, angel dust, as it's known in Spanish Harlem on 116th and Lenox.
Yeah,
taking
Queens,
some of
it
you
was
back.
known as angel dust also.
Okay. Ketamine and crack, cocaine, along with, I'd wash it down with a fifth of Jack Daniels or anything that was called turkey or beam.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you say I'm on the beam.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm in Los Angeles going to these recovery meetings, and I go to them every day. And every morning at 7 o'clock, there's a meeting, and there's 225 people there. And you're sitting next to some of the greatest stars in music, majorly famous TV stars, and the guy that lives in the park across the street.
Right.
I mean, LA is a melange of, and nobody has any class differential at that point. If you're at a recovery meeting, I mean,
the same.
I can say this, and I can divulge his anonymity because he has very many times. I'm sitting next to Anthony Hopkins, and I get up to go to get a cup of coffee, and as a public service, I just said to him, "You want me to get you a cup of coffee?" He said, No, Sarge, that's all right. I already had 2 cups, and I'm ready to, vibrate back to the car." And I said, he knew my name. Anthony Hopkins knows my name. Now, put me in your movies. Can I be your best friend? It's not like that.
Right.
So I'm proximity to the greatest and the most famous, and got to learn a lot about that kind of thing. But I'm out there, and I had a lot of friends. I mean, real people. You learn people from the inside out when it's a spiritual realm. I don't know about religiosity, but I know about spiritualism. When you learn people from the inside out, you may know their whole life story and not even know their name. They've shared 1,000 times about a death in the family, whatever. So anyhow, a couple weeks goes by, and I get a call from a friend, and she says, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "What?" She said, "Remember when I wasn't here for 2 weeks?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "I went back to be with my dying dad in Boston. I had to fly, from LA to Boston, and I wanted to get there before he died." And I said, "Okay, is he still with us?" She says, No, he succumbed, but amazing story," she says. I said, "Well, what happened?" He says, "Well, he hadn't been speaking for the last 2 weeks. He hadn't said a word. And then I came in and sat down, and for some reason, he started chuckling." And she said, "Dad, what are you laughing about?" He hadn't been talking to anybody. He was completely blank. And he says, "I'm just thinking of this funny black Jewish comedian I saw on the cruise that we went on." She said, "Which cruise?" He said, "Princess. We went on a Princess cruise. You remember?" "Oh, yeah." He says, "Boy, this guy was funny, man. He made me." And then he laughed just talking about me. She said, "You wouldn't remember his name, would you?" He said, "Yeah, Sarge. Sarge. His name was Sarge." He had a little bit of an accent, Filipino accent. And she says, "He's a really dear friend of mine." And he says, "You know Sarge?" And she says, "Yeah, very well. He's one of my best buddies." And he said, "Oh, man. Yeah, tell him he's funny." And 5 minutes later, he died. And she went back home to LA, and she called me, and she told me, you were part of my father's last best time. And that's what he was thinking about in the last few moments of his life. Now, you can't put a price tag on that. But when you realize people are in their 70s, 80s, 90s, people are dropping at 47 years old of pancreatic cancer. No matter where you are, if you're bringing joy to people for however long that is, for however many moments that is, it doesn't matter if I'm funnier than the other guy or funnier or not as funny or zeros after my paycheck or whether I live up the hill or down the hill. If you're bringing relief and joy to people, you're going to have to find a way for that to be okay. People say it all the time. "Oh, I'm a laugh bringer. So, I feel good about, I'm giving back." It's not really not, it's got to have legs. And the legs are, make that which you're doing something that serves people genuinely and sincerely, and you've got it made.
Yeah.
And you may never be a household word. I'm a household word in the 33436 area code. You know, people know who I am. I hear it all the time. People tell my mother at Publix, "You're Sarge's mother." She feels good from that. That gives her nachas, you know, that gives her, she kvells from that, to use a little Yiddish. So,
you know, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because the later years of life, when growing up in early adulthood, got along well with my father, but you know, I was rebellious. I tried this, I tried that, I tried a lot of different things.
well, obviously you wouldn't cut your hair. I mean,
well, no, that's
you've had long
now.
hair. Oh
no,
you had short hair.
No, yeah, it used to be. You using the car tonight? Yeah, not unless you cut your hair, that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, so this is my rebellious part of me. But later years, I had success out in the workplace, even before I had success doing this. I mean, in the business, in the corporate world. And I think I got more pleasure out of it, more than my ego would let me have being recognized in my field. I felt better because I saw the twinkle in my father's eye.
Yeah.
That he was proud of his son.
Yeah, my father doesn't have the ability. He's 91 and he's never been a very friendly guy and has a difficult time showing deep emotion.
Yeah.
He's an anger guy and a very stark arch conservative. We haven't ever really seen eye to eye, but it's on me to be a good son right here for what Alan King said.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Just because someone else doesn't know how to do it doesn't mean I return the favor by being just like them. I do the best I can to be a good son. And now they've run out of money.
Yeah.
They've outlived their savings.
And
I have, well, no, I mean, and they're not cheap. They got a $16,000 a month burn rate with nurses and diaper changers and the whole 9 yards. I never expected, well, I never expected this.
Right.
However, when I was a drug addict and I was stealing their jewelry and their silk and their flatware from their wedding at the Waldorf from 1955, I wasn't thinking about anything but getting more drugs.
Right.
This is life coming full circle. This is payback. This is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
When my wife cheated on me in Los Angeles, my first wife, I married a 20-year-old. I was 34. I mean, what did I think? What did I mean, was I a moron? She was hot. I don't drink. I don't drink.
Right.
She likes to have a few. And she found a guy that likes to have a few too, and that's who she shacked up with. But when it came time to pay, I had to pay.
Yeah.
I'm the breadwinner. So, you know, $4,000 a month, 27 months in a row. No bitterness. Help her pack. She's on a different journey.
Right.
My father's on his journey. He's on the journey he's on.
Right.
It's on me. I'm an only child. If they didn't adopt me, I was a mixed race baby in 1961 in a world where there was separate water fountains.
Accepted into society.
Excuse me. They didn't even tell my parents that my father was black. They saw a white woman giving birth. She never uttered a word of it. She just said that he should be adopted by a Jewish family. So I'm adopted. They take me into a place. I mean, think about the luck of this.
But the babka, right?
Well, yeah, but the babka is a silly story, and I don't want to waste people's time with that. I want to get to the essence of the truth of this, because this is what you have to think about when you think about paying someone else's bills. In 1961, my birth mother, an Orthodox Jewish woman, was pregnant with a black man's child and told no one, not even the OBGYN at Mount Sinai Hospital in Miami Beach. So my grandfather, best friends with the doctor, says, hey, can you help me out? My daughter needs a baby. He says, I got one that just came in. That's a total secret. I don't know why, but she's beautiful and she's young and she's got beautiful, white, milky skin. She's from a very Jewish family. She was studying to be a doctor at Northwestern, Orthodox family. She's smart. She's got beautiful skin. No husband. Come down. I'll take care of everything. She'll have the baby in a couple of days, and you'll just take it home. I mean, no one said, "Oh, the father must be a Schwarzer." So the alternate story was she sat on a bench near a basketball court with no panties on. That was just that was the joke. But the point is, if my parents don't, I'm moved to Great Neck. I'm an unadoptable child. If anyone knows my real story, but no one knew. So guess what? The secret of the universe. I'm moving to Great Neck, Long Island, like the Beverly Hills of New York, like outside of the city.
All right.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So out of curiosity, I know you're from, what street did you live on in Great Neck?
We lived first. We lived on Hill Park Avenue, which is in the Great Neck Plaza down by Skank Avenue,
Okay.
right off of Middle Neck Road by Belgrave Oldsmobile.
I lived right down the block from you.
Where did you live?
I was off of Darcy. If you're coming from the railroad tracks, you're coming up
toward
Northern. You got the Belgrave. You got the little Oldsmobile place.
Yeah.
And then
Russell Gardens on the other side, or
Russell
Gardens.
Right. You made a right.
Well, that's where our dentist
and
was.
And it was the park.
Did you go to the dentist there?
No.
Dr. Grauer?
No.
Because that's our dentist was right on the corner in Russell
okay.
Gardens, right across. You could walk over to his office. Although I'm really not crazy about that.
My doctor was across the street.
Isn't that amazing?
Dr. Ratty.
So we lived walking distance from each other.
Yeah.
There was a great bakery in Great Neck. There was Ben Kurtz.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good things. They had 4 and 20 pies. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was a pie place.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
There's a website on Facebook, Great Neck Childhood.
Yeah.
And it's got all these people bringing up
quite a few.
Kriegel's. You could go to get an egg cream.
Right.
Frederick's, the coffee shop.
Yeah.
People even like the coffee.
Bruce's, who is also
Bruce's is down in Boca. Yeah.
Yeah, but he used to be up in Great
I was
Neck.
never a big fan though. There was a lot of
Okay.
there was
Well,
a lot of
people, it's
ego. It was a lot
Yeah.
of. I was never part of that in crowd of Bruce's and Bruzel's.
Bobby Collins.
Yeah.
I was in Little League with Bobby Collins.
In Great Neck?
No.
Where was Bobby?
No, I was.
Where did you move to?
I was a teenager when I moved to Great Neck. I lived in Floral Park in the Glen Oaks area. When Bobby was
Glen Oaks,
when he was little,
right next to Creedmoor.
Right.
The mental hospital.
He lived closer to Creedmoor.
Well, Glen Oaks. Do you remember a guy named Ricky Halpert?
Ricky Halpert. That sounds so familiar.
Ricky Halpert.
No. Halpert.
Because my father's business and my family's business was in Floral Park.
Really?
On Atlantic Avenue, right around on Verbena. You know where Childs Murphy Insurance Agency was? Broderson's Deli, right on the corner.
Deli, I know.
Broderson's,
yeah,
right by the train station.
Yeah,
right by the train station on the corner there, right across the street from the firehouse.
Yeah,
that was my family's building business for 40 years.
Oh,
they published Travel and Travel Holiday Magazine.
Oh, okay.
And Fishing World. And
very cool.
Great story. My grandfather used to do door-to-door sales after he came here in the 30s, and he used to deliver ice. To the same doors he delivered ice. He then started going out and selling magazines door to door. He then decided everyone already has Life magazine and Look magazine. What am I doing? I need more brands to carry.
Right.
And so he made separate deals with 50 or 60 different magazines. And now, while still working for Life and Look, he's carrying Mechanics Illustrated, Golf Digest, Outdoors magazines, fishing, this and that. Well, anyway, he forms a company called National Circulating, which then gets bought out and becomes Publishers Clearinghouse.
Wow.
And when he left that and sold it to them, he bought 2 magazines from that. He kept 2 of the magazine brands. He bought them, Travel and Fishing. He figured people will always travel, people will always fish.
Right.
And then Holiday was going under, so they merged Travel with Holiday. You remember Holiday magazine was a very popular magazine. It was a coffee table magazine.
Right.
They merged it with Travel, and my father ran the company with my uncle. And that was my family business. And I worked there summer after summer after. I reorganized the back issues in the basement so many times on pallets. I can't tell you how many thousands of hours. In the old days, when you got a label on a magazine, it was like that little rectangular.
The printout.
Well, that came from a zinc plate.
Right.
But you had to type the information onto the zinc plates.
Right.
So when you would get all the new subscriptions, I had to sit at one of these zinc typewriters and literally make all the stencils for the little label that goes on the magazine that delivers the magazines. And I did this as a kid, and I got paid nothing.
Great. Yeah, real quick. I used to go. My father was in manufacturing. I used to go as a kid on weekends to work bags. You know, they weren't printed out. They were blank work bags.
Right.
I was there. I had to stamp every bag with the
logo,
little squares so people could sign for it and mark the information on it.
Right.
I got paid a penny a bag. I was lucky if I got 200 done. Anyway, before we run out of time, one, I want to find out. I want to let people know you've lost what, 100? How much?
100 pounds.
100 pounds.
Yeah. I went to Duke University Diet and Fitness Program, where they have a very logical. They used to have the rice diet. It was very famous.
Yes.
And Buddy Hackett went there for the rice diet, and he had pizza delivered at night. You know, but It's a very common sense situation where you go there and they evaluate your metabolism.
Right.
They evaluate what your body does with the foods that have gotten you fat. And then for 30 days, if you choose to stay there for a month, you can go there for a week, 2 weeks, or a month, and you stay there for a month, and they prepare the foods in the sizes and in the ingredients that are completely what your body needs in order to process food correctly.
So,
but you work out 3 times a day.
Right. So
you're there from 7 in the morning to 7 at night.
It's not a diet.
It's a life change because when you leave there, you have now transformed yourself and established a new way of living, which if you stick with, which I did.
Right.
The first thing they do when you get there is they ask you, what are your favorite foods? What makes you happy? I said, well, let's see, Five Guys, In-N-Out burgers, anything with cheese and burgers and dripping with heat and grease, pizza, bread, any kind of bread. I can clear it. I can clear an entire countertop at Cheesecake Factory. Baked goods and diet soda. I was a diet soda freak. I drank at least 12 cans of Diet Black Cherry, Dr. Brown's, for a living. Diet soda. They said, well, you have to eliminate all those things. So I eliminated all those things before I even got there.
All right.
And when I got there, I was ready to go to work. And I came out of there. I lost 17 pounds the first week and then continued to stay on this new way of living.
Right.
I've never, I had a cheeseburger like a month ago. They told me, this was funny. At one of the behavioral sessions, they said, well, you can have a slice of pizza. I said, no, I can't. They said, yes, you can. You can have a slice of pizza. And I said, no, I can't. And they said, yes, I can. And this went on for 10 minutes. Why can't you have a slice of pizza? I said, because if I have a slice of pizza, I want 7 more slices. I'm an addict. Do you understand? I'm an addict. I'm not a compulsive overeater. I'm addicted to certain foods. And if I eliminate the foods to which I am addicted and then remove, which is what they do, they remove the emotional component.
Right.
Like, I love this food. Oh, I hate this. How many people are on diets and they go, oh God, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this one more day. And they take another forkful. You have to remove emotions from liking and disliking. It's just fuel. I don't do a jumping up and dance when I fill my car with gas. You know, I don't go to the pump and go, I'm getting gas. I'm having macaroni and cheese with bacon chips. So what I did was I learned how to just fuel myself and not get all whacked out of shape on. I went to a steakhouse the other night and had a filet mignon, a baked potato. I didn't eat any of the bread, and I didn't have a piece of key lime pie after, and order another piece to go home with so I can have another slice at home. And I didn't do that.
Well, more power to you.
Thank you.
You're looking great. I'm proud of you. I'm sure you're proud of yourself.
I feel better.
And your knees are doing all right?
Knees are great. I got them replaced. There was nothing wrong with them. I got them replaced to fit in with my audiences.
Yeah.
So now I'm, it's a 2-joint replacement minimum in Florida. And so I got the knee. No, I got a coupon and it gave me,
All right. Let's before we run out of time. You got a very busy end of 2018, beginning.
Oh my goodness.
This weekend,
December 1st, I'm at Valencia Cove.
Right.
That's a big show, and it's almost sold out completely.
Right.
December 2nd, Anshe Shalom.
Right.
That's going to be over.
That's the Hanukkah matinee.
It's the Hanukkah chutzpah. That's kind of a branding image that we put. To tell you the truth, people just want to come out and see me. And it seems like there's a lot of people coming over there to the temple across from Kings Point on Atlantic Avenue. Then the 4th, I'm in Toronto. Yeah. The 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th in a row. Oh, and the 5th, I'm down in Miami Beach at a shul.
Surfside.
Actually, the shul. It's not just any shul.
It's the shul.
It's the shul. I mean, this is a real shul. And then the 4th, I'm in Toronto. The 5th, I'm at the shul. The 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, I'm at the Boca Black Box.
Right.
The 10th, I have to schlep my butt back up to Toronto to do
but
Israeli.
Toronto, it's a benefit for some. Is it?
Well, the 4th is a benefit for people in recovery, and it's a great organization called JAX. On the 10th, it's Israeli Widows and Orphans Fund, and this is for families that have been, separated from their spouse because of violence and terrorism in Israel. So it's a great organization. And then, of course, as we get deeper into the month, Christmas, and you have tickets.
Yes.
And I want you to give them away, to some people.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell people either go to the contact page.
Not cheap people. No,
we're not.
These are people that of need. People that need and don't have the $39
Okay.
because these are general admission seats. It's first come, first served. There's $39, $49, and $59 tickets. A lot of people have hearing and visual problems, and so they want to sit up as close as possible. Just know in the general admission area, there are video screens, and there will be enhanced audio. So it'll be just like being up front. The general admission area is a $39 ticket. I gave you 6. I want you to give them away to people that need. If you don't need, go to iamsarge/tickets. That's iamsarge.com/tickets, and you will be able to purchase your tickets online. If you don't like buying things online, go to the phone. The phone number is 855-99-LAUGH. That's 855-995-2844. And you call, and a lovely person will answer the phone. The funny thing about this is the people that use the phone are people that don't like putting their computer and the credit card, and they don't want to put the credit card on the computer.
But they'll give it over the phone.
But they're perfectly all right telling all their details to a stranger in a box office. So anyway, two ways to buy, and there's 6 tickets to give away for the actual matinee, which is on Christmas Day at 2 o'clock. I will not give away the tickets for Christmas Eve because it's selling really fast.
Yeah. And that's all right. So what we're going to do is, we were talking about the old days in Great Neck, and Floral Park and everything.
Yes.
Do you remember, was it John Daly or something Daly? Bailey did a show, Queen for a Day.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to say is, if you are somebody that really can't afford to go see Sarge and you want to see him, go to the contact page on WEINetwork.com or private message me on any of the Facebook pages and sell yourself. Tell me why you should get the tickets, why you are the needy one to get the tickets.
And it's Cyber Monday. You have to remind them. Cyber Monday. If you go to my website and go to iamsarge/tickets.
We'll post it.
Black Friday is your coupon code. That gets you half price on the general admission tickets on either show. So that gets you the tickets for $19.50, where they are $40 right now and filling fast. So just go there, go to iamsarge.com/tickets. Put in the coupon code Black Friday, or if you go on the phones, make sure you mention to them Black Friday, and you will get a 50% reduction in the cost of tickets in the general admission area. Please don't scream. There's a $5 service charge on every ticket sold, and that's to cover sales tax, because I'm not going to finish the show and then be taken out by an IRS agent in handcuffs.
Right.
So $5 tickets.
Even if she's cute.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You are going to laugh for upwards of 2 hours. I have a big band that's going to be playing with me, a 9-piece big band orchestra. I'm going to sing and swing and make you laugh so hard. You're tuches. Bring diapers. There should be diapers. I'll hand out diapers at the door.
All right. You should do that. You definitely should do that.
With my name across the back of them.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends on what? Depends upon how funny he is.
Exactly. You know what? Thank you for coming in.
What are you talking about?
You know what?
Anytime you invite me.
Anytime,
I'm here.
You've got nothing to do and you want to
It's not because I have nothing to do. It's always a pleasure to have you come, ask me to come.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just drop in. You ask me, I come.
That's it. You're listening to Peter's Living Room. We're here with Sarge. Remember, if you need tickets and can't afford them, contact me through social media or the contact page, iamsarge.com/tickets. And
855-99-LAUGH.
All right. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. It's holiday time. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to keep wishing you a happy holiday season and a happy new year.
Happy Kwanzaa to all of
happy Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. I thought that was an airline to Australia.
Isn't that in January?
No, it's an airline to Australia with the cute little koala bear.
Yeah, yeah.
Kwanzaa Airlines.
Yeah, close.
Well, I'm trying. I mean, I'm half black.
All right.
It means I had half a Torah when I was growing up.
All right. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks.
Good night, everybody.